we're going to have to edit a smidge because I want to make it match the quiz you're going to do on Wednesday, if you want to do this quiz. So I'm going to pull up the Excel spreadsheet, which is the original data. That's recording. Yes, that's recording. Okay. So now we're going to focus just on the cards here. So this is the card. This is you guys that pulled the cards.
So okay.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to define these variables in a different way. So we know that X is the number of trials. That's the number of cards drawn. So we're going to put X equals number of trials. We can use number of trials. That's fine. So in other words, it took you 0 trials to get ahead. 1 time to get. A trial is a card draw. Michelle, go ahead.
On 14 and 15, since there are zeros, do we leave those out?
We're going to deal with that momentarily. That actually won't be zeros in a minute. Hold tight. Okay. Great question. Great question. Love that question. What I'm going to change this column to, just to make it sync up with what we've been talking about in class, let's call it Y. But let's make it Y equals number still drawing after X trials. That seems a little bit wordy. But what I want you to think about it is this. I know that there weren't 218 of you in this room on that day.
What was number 3? You have the little first one.
Oh, don't worry. We're going to fix it anyway. We're going to fix that number anyway. We're going to change the number. I want you to imagine instead 218 people in a row, each with a deck of cards. Okay? They each shuffle the card, and they all pull a card and look at it. If that card is a diamond, they take a step back, and they're done. If not, they shuffle, put the card back in, shuffle, and do it again. If after that second one is a diamond, they take a step back. What I'm envisioning, this is kind of morbid, but within the past 6 months I watched that old Mel Gibson movie, The Patriot, and I'm envisioning the idiotic way they used, well, not that war is ever not idiotic, but the way they line up in lines, and they'd shoot at each other, and then like basically a tenth of the line would fall down, and they'd keep walking forward, then a tenth again. You ever heard the word decimate? You know what the word decimate means? What does it mean when you hear the word decimate? It means what? Take out, right? Eradicate. You know what? Think about the word decimate. What does decimate? 10. Do you know where it comes from? This is what is morbid just thinking about this. It is death. It's how the Romans used to treat treason in their ranks. So if soldiers were accused of treason, they take the treasonous soldiers and put them in a line, start at the front, kill the first guy, skip down 10, kill that guy, skip down 10, kill that guy. Decimate, to thin out by a tenth. That's how they dealt with treason back in the Roman troops.
Did they know that when they were getting in line?
No, because they would arrange themselves differently. Why is nobody in the space 10? Because we know, damn it. So that's where the word decimate. I did some Googling on that because that's gotta be a math term because it's decimate. You don't use deci unless it's like decade. You don't use that phrase or that prefix unless it's power of 10. So anyway, kind of that way here, except not morbid. It's just you're done with the diamonds. It's kind of the way I've heard in Japan when you have to get a volunteer from the audience, very often the entire room will play rock, paper, scissors. Let's do it right now. Rock, paper, scissors to show you the point. No, you know what? Even better. No, even better. Even better. We'll do it after this data set. We'll do it after this data set. No. Let's finish this one first. Because we can actually use that. I didn't even think about this. We can use that as exponential modeling. That's exponential modeling too. Let's come back to that. But the idea is you knock out a chunk of people each time. And the chunk changes. But part of the chunk doesn't change. So what I want to do is I want to redo this data to represent the people that are still going. So what I'm talking about here is 76 of you pulled one card and were done, correct? So how many were still going? Well, it would have been that minus that, yes? There should have been 142 that were then still flipping. So I'm going to change that number to 142. Okay. Did you see what happened? 76. Let me go back. Undo. There were 76 people who pulled a diamond on their first pull. And then you stopped pulling then. Well, there were 76 that did pull a diamond on their first pull. That means if I take 76 away from the 218, that's who would have pulled more than once. You have to think of the 218. I know that there was like 20 of you pulling cards and you did it multiple times, but imagine that each trial you did was a different person. If you pulled one diamond and you were done, that means you would have put your cards, then you would have been done and gone home. But anybody that didn't pull a diamond on the first one would keep going. So I'm going to redo the data and make this guy 142 right here. Now just follow with me here. Follow with me. Now, it took 40 people 2 pulls, correct? So of the 142 that then pulled again, we lost 40 of them, didn't we? We lost 40 of them. So that's going to be, I think I can set up a formula here. This minus that. Yep. So then we got 102 left at this point. So what you're seeing is you're seeing the change that we lost here, and then the people that are still pulling here. Now there were 102 pulling after 2, but we lost 30 of them at the third pull, yes? We lost 30 at the third pull. So then we're going to be down to, I think I can just drag this formula. Yep. Just drag this formula all the way down, I believe, until we get to this. Yep, there we go. So this is now going to be 72. Then we lost 21, which will give us 51. So you guys don't have to worry about the math that I just did in Excel. Just make sure you get the new data, is what I'm getting at. Get the new data into your TIs. And then we're going to have 16 fewer, which gives us the 35. You've seen it's telling me the answers over here. 21. Michelle, we're going to get to your point here in a second. Then we lost 7, which means we're at 14. Then we lost 3, we're at 11. We lost 5, we're at 6. We lost 1, so we're at 5. We lost 2, so we're at 3. We lost 1, so we're at 2. We lost 1, so we're at 1. Now this is where it gets interesting. That person kept going. Yes? That person at pull 14 didn't pull a diamond. And then at pull 15, they didn't pull a diamond. They pulled a diamond at pull 16. I forget who that was. Somebody actually had to pull it 16 times to get a diamond. Was that you, Kelly? Thank you, sir. So this was Kelly right here. Boom, boom, boom. And then finally at 16, he pulled a diamond. Please.
So what goes into...
That's what we're going to answer right now, Chloe. Thank you for that question. Here is what you're going to put in your TIs right there. Ignore this 467 down there. That's irrelevant. That's what... You probably already have this in L1 from Wednesday. Just change it to this in L2. You guys do it too for practice. Everybody do it. I know we had half the class doing the coins and half the class doing the cards. Everybody do this for practice. Then we'll do rock, paper, scissors. Please.
So are we skipping the first and the last one like we did on the other one because of the zeros?
We're going to have to skip the last one for sure. Carrie. The first one's up. No, no.
Well, right,
remember.
you can have the zero.
Yes, ma'am. You can have an X be 0. You just can't have a Y be 0. So Carrie's saving you a little bit of effort and agony right now in that you don't have to put 16-0 in your model, do you? Because it's going to fart out if you try, yes? If you put 16-0 in your data, it's going to get pissed at you. So just leave it off. And this will happen just so you don't get pissed at me tomorrow night when you're doing the quiz for Wednesday. You're going to get that same error unless you leave that. I'm sorry, Brian, we got your way. Standing right in the way. Error. You're going to get the same error on your quiz if you put that last 0 in. So you want to leave that one off as well too, yes? Is that good?
What?
On the quiz for Wednesday, should you do the quiz for... No. Should you do the quiz for Wednesday? Should you do the quiz for Wednesday? You're going to have that same problem if you go all the way down to the y equaling 0. So you have to leave that last one out. So essentially, don't put this data point in, or you'll get an error. So just stop at 15. Put these in. You can have an x equals 0. I got no problem with that. I got no problem with that whatsoever.
So how do you take it off after you've already done it?
Just put your cursor on top of it and press delete. D-E-L. Blake, go ahead. Yeah, for sure. Let me turn the camera off real quick.